So this is a mirror that is home. And here's another dilemma. When I bought this, I fell in love with this mirror. This thing is like untouched. But somebody just looked at this mirror last night, and we had some house guests, and they wanted to see the house, and she looked at it and said, oh, you have a chalkboard in your mirror. I mean, you cannot see anything. That's the kind of mirror I love. Just, you know, maybe 40 years ago I'd look at it, but not anymore. But there is pieces of gilding missing. There is pieces of, you know, it has veneer cracking. It is so untouched. And there is the back of it. You see how it's dark on top and light on the bottom? That's because when you hang something, it always hangs away on the top, so it gets more air exposure than it does on the bottom. So it's subtle, but it's there. You cannot fake that. There's just no way somebody could imitate that and get it right. Forget it. It will never happen. So that's why when you see at an auction preview, or you watch Kevin and I examine something, we take a mirror, we look at it, and we take it off the wall, look at the back. And I remember we did a show in New York years ago, and we had a mirror that was like textbook. And the dealer at the end of the show said, you know, you should have just hung the mirror facing the wall, because you spent the whole time looking at the back more than people who saw the front. And because we were proud of that mirror, so looking so good. And just to give you an idea how pure this thing is, many years ago, I've owned this mirror probably 40 years, probably 35 years ago, Albert Sack came to see our house, and he saw this mirror in our bedroom, and he said, I'll take it, how much is it? He said, wow, I love that, I'll give you anything, I love this mirror. He wanted this relic because it told such a great story. And I just thought that, you know, and so most people would say, okay, you need to fix this a little bit. No, this is one time where there's not a chance that I would have anything to do on this mirror. It's not a mirror anymore. It's an object to look at and to, you know, to appreciate.
And so when Arthur and I were looking at this morning, and again, my great thing, turn it around, look at the back, and I mean, it is a study in consistency, because the crest, the glue blocks, the frame, the backboard, I mean, it is so consistent. And I was looking at the top, I said, oh, I remember how there was 3 vertical glue blocks across the top, and they've fallen off at different times. I said, this one's a little darker, this one's a little in the middle, and that one is pretty new. And Arthur said, oh yeah, that one fell off this morning.
Bringing it down, it fell off.
And that, maybe something you want to put on. But you know, there's other glue blocks holding it in place, and part of that condition and consistency and kind of common sense, this grain of the crest is white pine with mahogany or walnut veneer on the front, and the grain of the pine is going horizontally. And the glue blocks, the grain is going vertically. So they're shrinking at a different ratio. So that when the crest shrinks, and you can see as it shrinks on the pine, it curls back a little bit. Because the back is shrinking, but the front is sealed with the veneer and the glue that seals it in place. So as that ages and curls, then those vertical glue blocks tend to pop off because of that pressure.
And there's also another reason. Because the veneer is on one side only. That glue that holds the veneer has now sealed the wood on the front side, but the back is still breathing. There's nothing there. So that's one of the reasons why it curves backwards, because it's still breathing in that direction. It expands and contracts. Whereas it's not anymore because it's sealed in the front.
How much emphasis do you put on stability? Because those glue blocks were originally put there to keep it stable. And by not replacing them, maybe you're introducing some instability.
I think that's a very good question, but I would think that for the most part, a lot of that curvaceous nature of the mirror, of that piece, is over for the most part. It doesn't go, like it doesn't, depending on an August day or a January when it's really dry inside, it doesn't, the wood doesn't go back and forth like a pendulum. It's pretty steady right now where it is.
And the stability of the construction is important. So, glue blocks on a chair, we would replace glue blocks that are missing on the base, on the feet of a chest of drawers. It's important to replace some of those glue blocks because it's adding strength and reinforcing the old parts of the chair and keeping those safe, or the chest of drawers of the feet, keeping those safe. So stability is an issue. This is held intact by the glue blocks that are orientated in the same way, and the mirror itself.
So it's on a case by case?
Yes, yeah. So, and a replaced glue block, if we saw that on a chest of drawers, or a chair, or a mirror, it's not really an issue. You like to see it when it's all original and all looks like this, just so consistent and so intact. But, so in a way, this will get the premium, but the one with replaced blocks won't really get a deduction. It's just kind of on par with the general value.
Any idea what the bracket of that was for?
This was probably from where it was hung on the wall.
Just keep it away from the.
Yeah, no, because one of the original ways to hang was to have a molding with a long bar that came down, and then that was probably part of that system of hanging from the cornice, interior cornice of the room. But yeah, that's a great study in consistency and whether